You know, every single day, we trust our most important secrets to a whole system of digital locks. Everything from our bank details to our private messages. But what if a brand new kind of lockpick was just over the horizon? A key so powerful it could open pretty much any lock that we're using right now. So today, we're going to dive into this invisible threat to all of our encrypted data and the high-stakes race to secure it before it's way too late.
In this quote, man, it really gets right to the heart of the problem. You might be thinking your data is perfectly safe behind all that encryption, but I want you to imagine something for a second. A massive digital heist is already happening, silently, all around us. Attackers are just scooping up these huge amounts of scrambled, unreadable data, not for what it is today, but for what it could be worth tomorrow.
And there's a name for this strategy: harvest now, decrypt later. The idea is shockingly simple. Collect everything you can possibly get your hands on right now. We're talking government secrets, corporate intellectual property, your personal health records, anything with long-term value, and then just stockpile it. They're making a bet, a huge bet, that someday, very soon, they'll finally have the technology to unlock it all.
So what is this game-changing technology that these thieves are betting the farm on? Well, to understand that, we have to talk about a completely new kind of computer, one that plays by the truly mind-bending rules of quantum physics.
This right here, this breaks down the fundamental weakness in almost all of our current security. So most encryption today is built on a really clever mathematical trick. It's super easy to multiply two gigantic prime numbers together. But it is incredibly, ridiculously difficult for a normal computer to work backward and figure out what those original prime factors were. I mean, we are talking thousands, maybe even millions of years of processing time. A quantum computer, on the other hand, it can solve that same problem in a flash.
So think of it like this. Our current encryption is like a super strong vault door. It's totally robust against any kind of conventional battering ram you could throw at it. But a quantum computer, it doesn't even bother with brute force. It has a special key, an algorithm that is literally designed to just pick the lock.
And that special key? It actually has a name: Shor's algorithm. It was developed way back in 1994, and it's basically the theoretical lightsaber that can slice right through the tough math problems that hold up all of our modern encryption. So how does this lightsaber actually work? Well, it's not about trying every single combination one by one. No. Instead, it uses a wild quantum trick called superposition, and this allows it to kind of explore a huge number of possible answers all at the same time. By doing this, it can very quickly find a hidden repeating pattern in the math. That's the period, which is basically the secret key that instantly gives up the original prime numbers and unlocks the data.
And let's be absolutely clear about this. This is not some distant sci-fi fantasy. No way. Experts have actually given this future moment a name. They call it Q-Day. And the countdown to it has already begun.
Okay, this timeline really puts the race into perspective. The theory, the threat, it's been around since 1994. Then, just this year, 2024, the first new quantum-resistant standards were finally locked in. But now, look at that deadline. The US government is aiming for a full migration by 2035. And yeah, that might sound like it's a decade away, but as we're about to see, that is nowhere near enough time.
Right. And here is the really crucial point. These massive, global technological transitions take a very long time. I mean, previous crypto upgrades have taken a decade or even more to fully roll out across the world. So if Q-Day is just over 10 years away, and the migration itself is going to take that long, well, the margin for error is basically zero. The window for action isn't tomorrow, it's right now.
But the good news is, experts aren't just sitting around waiting for the sky to fall. There is a massive global effort underway to forge new digital armor, a whole new generation of encryption that can actually withstand a quantum attack.
It's called post-quantum cryptography, or PQC for short. And the whole strategy is to build brand new locks based on totally different kinds of math problems that are really hard for both classical computers and quantum computers to solve. We're not just trying to reinforce the old vault door, we're designing a completely new one from the ground up. So how do you find the best designs for these new locks? Well, the US National Institute of Standards and Technology, or NIST, held this multi-year global competition. They basically invited cryptographers from all over the world to submit and then try to break each other's new algorithms to really stress test them and make sure the final choices were as tough as humanly possible.
And here you can see the results of that competition. It's basically out with the old, in with the new. On the left, you've got the workhorses of today's internet.
things like RSA and ECC. And on the right, those are their official replacements, the very first standardized PQC algorithms with cool names like Crystal's Kyber and Crystal's dilithium. These are the brand new tools we're going to use to protect our data.
Okay, so we've got the new armor. Now for the really hard part. How does the entire world put it on? This is the great upgrade, a security transition on a scale that honestly we have never seen before.
For any company or organization, the path forward really involves 3 key steps. First, you've got to figure out what data is most at risk, the stuff that needs to stay valuable and secret for decades. Second, and trust me, this is the really hard part, you have to create an inventory of every single piece of software, hardware, and service that uses encryption. Then, finally, you can begin the long, slow process of upgrading.
But you can't just flip a switch one day and call it done. I mean, these new algorithms are just that. They're new. They haven't been battle-tested for decades like the classics. And that's exactly why, for the most critical systems, experts are recommending a much safer, more gradual approach.
It's this idea called hybrid encryption, and it's pretty clever actually. You basically protect your data with 2 locks at the same time. You use the tried and true classical algorithm, and you also use the new PQC algorithm. This gives you that belt and suspenders level of security. If some unexpected flaw is found in one of them, the other one is still there, protecting the data.
If there's one big lesson we're learning from this whole transition, it's the need for something called crypto agility. We have to build our systems so that the next time a new cryptographic threat shows up, we can swap out the algorithms easily without having to rebuild everything from scratch again. It's really all about being prepared for the unknown.
Okay, so let's bring it all together. What are the key things to remember? First, the threat is here. It is happening now, with bad actors harvesting data today. Second, the locks that we all depend on have a known, future-breaking vulnerability. And third, a massive, global upgrade to new standards is already underway, making this one of the most urgent technological races in history.
Which really just leaves us with one final thought. This isn't just another patch or software update. It's a fundamental overhaul of the trust and security that holds up our entire digital world. The pieces are in place, the plan is there, but the scale of the task is just immense. So the real question is, will we be ready in time?